Hello, 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 my podcast people, and thank you for joining me for yet another episode of my favorite podcast. Whoops, supposed to be my favorite online business podcast, but we're just going to go with it. If you are listening, tuning in, or watching on the day that it drops, it is Monday, February 9th. It is my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. She listens to some of these, not all of these. But happy birthday to my mom. Everything I am, everything that I am, do, think, believe, just have, I owe to her in some way, shape, or form. And I try to thank her. I do try to thank her whenever it comes up, and whenever people are like, why are you the way you are? And I'm like, I get it from my mama. I get it from my mama. So go wish my mama a happy birthday. She is Hike Lady 1963 on the Instagrams. Sliding over there. I'll probably have a post up. Actually, this episode goes up before I wake up, so maybe I won't have a post up by the time when you're listening to this, but either way, go ahead, go say happy birthday to her. But I want to hop right on into today's episode. We are talking about congruency over cleverness. We're talking about marketing. By marketing, I mean messaging 101. I got distracted there. I'm looking at the camera. The lighting, it's very late. It's like midnight. I usually record this during the day, but I had other stuff that I was doing. I was working on other stuff, and I'm going to talk about it at the end of this episode. I spent the day doing that. And so I'm recording very late. Rupert's there. I changed the lighting a little bit because I hate when the banding comes. If you're listening to this, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you're watching it, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm pointing to that M right there. Because of the way the camera works, if the shutter speed and such and everything is not exactly matched to the speed of that light, then you get that banding. And it's annoying when I watch it in playback. And so if I turn the light all the way up, we don't get banding. But then it's really bright like that, and Rupert's like under the spotlight. But it is what it is. I like the rest of the lighting. So we're going to hop on in. We're going to talk about Messaging 101, and the importance of congruency over cleverness. Now, honestly, real talk, it is weird as fuck to promote and sell things, be promoting and selling things right now. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying this in like a deservedness. You don't deserve to be promoting if people are going through anything. It's not about that. It's just in a whiplash way, right? Like, even if you are, and I hope you are, talking about things and speaking out against things and everything that's going on right now, that actually almost makes it even harder, because it's like, call your reps, fuck Trump, fuck fascism, this is authoritarianism, protest is on Saturday. And then it's like, but buy my course. And it's just like this weird emotional, mental, spiritual whiplash, right? But it's also our current reality. It's staying engaged and staying afloat, keeping your business going, and as we fight to keep democracy going. It's the weirdest fucking thing, right? But one of the things that I have said since Trump got elected is to build something worth saving. Because it does feel like, burn it down, fucking burn it all down. It does feel like that a lot of the time. And part of the solution to me, part of the action item to me, is to build things and build something that is worth saving. And I think that more and more and more each day we are presented with opportunities and occurrences that force us to ask ourselves, what do I want? What do I care about? What do I enjoy? What do I value? What is worth saving? Now, for the record, I am not anti-commerce. Right? I do believe that corporate capitalism will kill all of us. It will kill us all. And I got to figure out a way to talk about that more on socials, because I have very strong feelings, very strong opinions about it. But like, whenever you say the word capitalism, people are like, like, you want us to be poor. Like, it's not a good response. It's not helpful. It's not a productive conversation. Right? People get scared, they tune out. And so I got to figure out a better way to go, to a more tactful way, backdoor it, right? To Trojan horse it. But my point with all that is that I'm absolutely here for people making money, right? And I'm here for consumption as well, which is different than consumerism. Right? Simply stated, I would love to live in a world where it feels as good to have things as it does to buy things. And we are as encouraged to actually have and take care of and value things as we are to buy things. Right? It's the reverse. With consumerism, it's the reverse. It's like buy. And then your status is based on what you can buy. And therefore what you have, as opposed to like have these things, enjoy these things, value these things. I got that picture over there. It's not a picture, it's like a piece of art for this guy, from this man, Brian. And he does like laser engraving, and it's got like, what's it called? Epoxy on the side. And like, I really value that. That picture right there of Rupert, I value that, right? Like, I'm gonna have that thing forever. I'm not opposed to consumption and having things by any means. So I say this because as I'm thinking about, what's worth saving, and are we just perpetuating more bullshit, and like making sure we're not perpetuating consumerism, and making sure we're not perpetuating corporate capitalism. Those things are fucking terrible. But I do like commerce. I do support commerce, and I do support having, people have their own business. Absolutely. And free market. Absolutely. And when I think about my role in that and what I would want to save and how I'd want to keep showing up, if I have to be within that, like, I'd love to just be a DJ. I don't know if you know, like, I didn't do a life update, but if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen the stories that I shared that Lex posted of me using the DJ controller that she got me. I'm fucking obsessed. Like, it is the most fun thing. I have thought about doing this for years. And, I'm not a big birthday person. Like, I don't really care. It's fine. My birthday's cool. It's a really cool day. But Lex really likes to celebrate. And I was like, all right, fine. She's like, I don't need gifts. It's fine. But she was like, wants to give me something. She was like, you're so hard to shop for, because I have the things that I want. Like, I'm 41 years old now. I have the things I want. But she knows that for years I've talked about just not wanting to be a DJ, but just like mixing things in my head. I'd be like, that song sounds like that song. That sounds like that song. And we could mix them together, but like, I have no way to do it. And now I do. And it is just so much fun. Like, I could just do that forever and ever, which is the tie-in here is that, like, I'd rather just do that, but like, I got to make money. And as I think about my skill set and how I can be of use to other people, I think about immediately messaging, right? I'm good at it. I enjoy it. I don't feel grimy doing it and helping people with it. I actually feel the opposite way, that I'm like, I can help with transparency and pushing people towards that transparency and helping them be more them. And specifically as it relates to, this is an online business podcast, we are 6 years out from COVID, and folks are leaving the space, right? Just because that's what happens in cycles. They're just like, I'm done. I tried it. It didn't work. Or like, I did it and I liked it, and I'm also just ready to be done. So 2 things from this. 1, if you're thinking about entering the online space and building something that is worth saving, please do it. Come, welcome. The second part of this, right, as we are thinking about what to save and their space, and you're thinking about messaging, congruency over cleverness, right? What you're saying, how you're showing up, these things matter, right? And these will attract or repel people. And as it relates to your business, whether you're new and you're just starting because there is this gap, or you're diving in more, or you're still trying to figure out how to make it work, the best thing you can do is ask yourself if your messaging is congruent as it relates to this side of business, right? The best thing you can do is be really fucking good at what you do. But I hear people throw this phrase out, like, I need help with my messaging. I need help with my messaging. And the thing that you can ask yourself is my messaging congruent? All right, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But I do want to note, like, what exactly congruency means. But I do want to note that hindsight is 20/20, and volume is your best friend, right? The more you create and the more content you create, volume, posts, emails, blogs, podcasts, episodes, podcast episodes, YouTube videos, whatever, the more data points that you will have, right? More content, more data points. And it becomes exponentially easier to identify and extract your avatar, your niche, more accurate messaging, all of the things. So volume will be your friend, time will be your friend, and they go hand in hand, right? They can go hand in hand. You could have a lot of time and not do nothing during that time, right? But if you just do a little bit over a long period of time, you end up with this volume, right? My suggestion, if you're just starting out, and even if you're not, but especially if you're just starting out and you don't have that like hindsight, you don't have that body of work to look at, is to approach messaging from a position of congruency, not cleverness, right? I teach a 4-part framework called Congruency Marketing that goes as following. Who you are should be the same as how you want people to see you, which should be the same as how you show up, which should be the same as how people see you. Very simple. We look from what we can control. We look to have all of those things be congruent. Who you are, how you want people to see you. That's the first one, man. And I will say self-confidence starts with self-acceptance. I don't want to get too like esoteric and like woo-woo and like self-helpy in this, but like that is foundational for building your business. Self-confidence that is predicated on, built on self-acceptance. Who you are is exactly the same as how you want people to see you, is the same as how you show up, and therefore is the same as how people see you. Yes, people will, see what they want, but it's much easier to have them see the real you if you're showing up as the real you, right? So again, to go back and just kind of break down the framework a little bit, so it's not like too self-helpy, right? As when I'm saying who you are, that's all. That's what are you interested in, right? What do you want to do? What are you good at? What are your values? What do you value? We lead with that. So for those of you that are new and you're like, where do I start? It's with that. It's not what might people like. It's who am I? What do I like? Right? What are my interests? What's my expertise? And lead with that. The goal is to attract people like you, like people who want the thing that the way that you are. They want you. It makes everything so much easier. Right? The second half of this messaging, right, is what your audience wants. So I have the congruency marketing, and like now we're going to talk about more of the messaging side of things. The congruency marketing was the 4-part framework I just talked about. The messaging side of it, right? This is the back half, the other half of it. I should note, clarity in how you show up helps to take care. Let's put that word there. Helps to take care of a lot of this, right? Which is why I have that congruency marketing part first. Who you are, showing up as that. Right? You show up that way, you have clarity in that, the messaging becomes a lot easier. Right? Again, identifying things when you're just starting, volume and time will help with creating all of the clarity and how you're showing up and all of those things. Right? I just can't say that enough. I want people to make sure that they give themselves grace and time, because people oftentimes come to me and they're just like, they can be a little bit frustrated that they don't have like the niche and the messaging, everything nailed down. And I'm like, dude, you've been doing this for 3 months. Like, it's okay. But I want to give you like a specific example here and introduce you to a messaging framework that I like. Because I was looking at a friend's sales page just today, actually. And that's kind of what inspired this episode. And I was just like, what you're saying here doesn't match with what a person who would want this would want to hear, right? It's incongruent, which is the title of the episode. Messaging 101, congruency over cleverness. It's late. Thank you for giving me grace. I know I'm saying marketing, I mean messaging. Thank you. What I want you to think about and focus on when it comes to messaging, and as it relates to your audience, is going to be about them. Right? It involves you, but it's about them. This doesn't mean sell your soul or lie in order to give people what they want and make a sale. No. Right? Because the first part of congruency marketing, the first part of this whole thing that I spoke about, is showing up as you with all your values and attracting folks who have the same values, or at least who respect those values, right? The second part of things, when we get into the actual messaging, this is about what they want, right? What do they want? What do they care about, right? And I get it. When you're just starting out, you have no clients and you're like, I don't know what they want, right? The starting point is the same as I said before. It's about you. What do you want? What are your interests? What are your values? Your approach? What do you believe in? Your expertise? You start there and you look to attract people who feel the same way, right? after you get clients, ideally ones that you like, then you listen for their exact words, their exact verbiage, exactly what they care about, what they want, and then you speak to that. This is, again, we're going to circle back to congruency over cleverness. This is the messaging framework, and I'm going to call this the messaging trifecta, right? Or you can think of it as like the holy trinity of the messaging gospel here. But it's the messaging trifecta, 3 parts here: desires, values, and framing. First one, desires. What do they want? What is the thing that they want? The outcome that they want. Values. What do they care about? Framing. How are you positioning this thing and talking about it? Right. So if you break that down a little bit, desires, yes, say what they want, right? Make an offer that solves the problem that they want solved. Right? That is a given. I see this missed basically only when people are guessing and, they create and launch an offer before they've done market research to see if anyone wants it. Values. Right? What does the person care about? First one was, what do they want? Values, what do they care about? Right? This requires that you ask yourself, what do they actually care about? Right? Do they care about this thing? Do they care about these things? Or do I want them to care about it? Yes, you can nudge folks in a direction and look to highlight what matters and try to get them to care about these things a little bit more. But that's going to come from like your general content. It's not going to be on a sales page or like at the point of the time of sale, right? This aspect gets missed because people just don't think about it, right? They're just not thinking about what do people actually care about. They're like, what do they want? And then they just write a bunch of other stuff. And it's like, okay, that's the first part, but we got a trinity, a trifecta. Right? Desires, values, framing. Last part, framing. This is how you are talking about this thing. And this could be your overall brand. This could be an overall offer, right? This can be your overall brand. This could just refer to an offer, right? There's different levels of it. But either way, it's how you're talking about it. What are you saying? What are you emphasizing? What's the story around the story? This is actually the thing that I see people miss the most. And this is where there's a failure most oftentimes in congruence, right? In congruency. This is where I really help people. So like I said earlier, I looked at a friend's sales page today, and that's what inspired this episode. And he has an AI offer. And when I read through it, it seemed that the desire that his avatar had was a way to stay ahead of their competition. What did they value? Being first to do something, being ahead of the curve. But I was like, that was a guess. It was a little bit uncertain, though, because one would guess that demographic that it seemed like he was talking to would just pay to stay ahead. They wouldn't necessarily take the time and effort to try and learn it themselves, right? Because what they really seemed to just care about was staying ahead. And so I was like, wait a minute, there's a disconnect already. And then the framing, especially like the hero text, there was it was incongruent because it spoke to catching up to the competition. It was like, your competition's already doing this. And I was like, wait, but I thought these people cared about staying ahead. So this messaging, now they have to catch up and then hope they can get ahead. That's just too much. It's too much friction there. Right? We see how that's incongruent, especially that last part. So I asked them some questions and we changed things and it became a lot more congruent. Like I was like, okay, I understand this. So the desire was more about competing for recognition via having new skills and subsequent gains, right? Financial gains. The values, the very things that these people care about, one of them is leveraging the resources that they have because they didn't have a ton of resources. The framing then that I was like, hey, how about this, was creating a gap that their competition will never be able to close. So we start to see like it pulls in the things that they desire and the things that they value. Because I use that word creating, like, hey, you're going to do this thing. You're going to leverage your resources. You're going to be the one that makes this thing. And that's what's going to make this, less expensive for you because you're going to be doing the work yourself. And the outcome is going to be the thing that you want. Right? Your desire, you're going to get recognition because you're going to have new skills. You're going to have subsequent gains from this thing that you can use and then make. Right? And it all ties together. it's been my experience that we tend to see some version of mismatch where folks never have all three sides of the triangle. Ideally, they have at least two, but sometimes just one, but they rarely have all three. I think that folks spend a lot of time trying to make it marketable via cute names or, a clever wordplay, but they miss the most important details, which again is the desire, the values, and the framing. Right? They all have to match. Right? Otherwise, there's a dissonance in people, and they're like, wait. So, my suggestion: start there. Go through your stuff. See if it makes sense and if it fits together and if it is congruent. If you want help, this is my favorite part I'm excited about. I'm rolling out some new offers. It is time. I did a poll in my newsletter, to my newsletter folks last week. Hopefully you're on the newsletter. If you want help with your messaging, I'm going to drop an interest list. You can add your info to it and you'll be the first to know, or at least you will not miss out then on knowing about the new offers that I'm going to roll out. Right? I am leaving the term messaging real loose, right? The offers are going to be about messaging and helping you with your messaging. This could be a single sales page. It could be a single offer. It could be for your entire business. It could be to help you gain clarity on what direction you should start in your business as it relates to messaging. The offers are coming. I am super excited about this, which is nice because I really haven't been excited about much in the online biz wise for a while now. You folks listen to my podcast. You've reached out and you've been like, what are you thinking of doing? I hear that and I'm like, I don't know. Right? I've given myself space to wait for it to fall into my head. And tonight, boom, boom, fell into my head. Right? I should note that I've definitely been excited doing my press publish. I took the Mafia in a new direction. And those things have been exciting to me. But as it relates to my online business as a whole and the coaching that I do, I've been trying to figure that out, especially, like I said earlier, presented with these moments, right? Contrast creates clarity. This chaos creates clarity. The pause afterwards creates clarity. The pause in between the chaos creates clarity. And it's like, man, what matters? What's worth, saving? And to me, it is this messaging side. I'm actually very, very, very excited. So I'm creating ways to help people with it. All right. So that, my friends, looking at the time's a little longer. That is all that I got for today. Remember, add your info to the interest list if you are interested in getting help with messaging. I'm excited. And if you want help, I'd love to help you. All right. Endlessly. You know the drill. One more time. Endlessly. Look at Rupert. Sleeping, unfazed, endlessly appreciative for every single one of you. Until next time, friends, Maestro out.